What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be running through the new Valorant patch notes 1.02, which dropped just about a half an hour ago. Riot released this nice little blog post that they always do, running through all just the changes coming up in this patch, and there's some really big stuff to talk about. We have ranked coming in this patch. We have surrender coming in this patch. We have some agent just balance changes and stuff like that. A lot of good stuff in this patch. We're going to be running through it all and be giving my opinions on what I think is the most important. So before we get in this video, I just want to mention, if you guys are not subscribed already, definitely click that button real quick. Helps you guys stay up to date on all my latest content. It helps me out a ton as well, so it works out for both of us. Also, check out the link for Robinhood in the description below if you want to receive a free stock just by signing up. With that being said, here we go again. We have patch notes 1.02. They say you can stop spamming them now because competitive mode goes live on this patch. That is, I think, what people have been the most excited for in the most anticipated release. The most obvious change is that the new top rank is now Radiant, not Valorant anymore. They've added a surrender option, and then tagging, the slowing effect you feel when you hit by bullets has been adjusted. You're not going to be slowed as much when you're tagged by bullets anymore. That feels like it'll be a really nice quality of life change, because you were so slow before when you got tagged by bullets. And then it allows you to escape a little bit if you're near cover. It also allows you to jump around, move around, and maybe land some shots of your own without being so slow. But they can't help you much if you're dancing out in the open. And some menu UI changes. So first of all, getting into the agent updates, Viper toxic screen now burns through walls, placing emitters at all valid locations, e.g. the ground, over its length. Snakebite, taking damage will make a player fragile for a short time. Fragile is a debuff that increases damage taken. So if you are able to land Snakebite on someone, you're going to be able to increase your damage to them for a little bit. The total damage is unchanged. The damage is lowered, but Fragile increases it. It all evens out. So not really too much of a buff. Kind of a nerf, honestly. And then Poison Orb activation cooldown has been increased from 0.5 seconds to 6 seconds. We like Viper's unique ability to do one-way smokes, but some of the locations could create places where it was suicide to push through. An increased window should keep this viable without eliminating the strategy. So that's a pretty interesting change as well. So we have 3 pretty big changes to Viper there. Next up, we have Jett. Jett Bladestorm now refreshes when used to kill Phoenix during Run It Back. That's kind of an interesting change. Pretty niche change though. Shouldn't happen too often, I don't think. Reyna Soul Orbs are now spawned when Reyna kills Phoenix during Run It Back. So just a lot of changes to Phoenix using his ult for people. Cypher fixed an issue where Spycam blocked Spike Diffusal. I did see that bug on Reddit or something. That was very terrible. I'm glad they fixed that. Fixed an issue where players could place a cyber cage on a trapwire. Added prevention for Spycam going through teleporter doors on bind when placed on the frame outside the door. And then some smoke tuning. As far as the weapon updates, Bucky is getting a crouch walking accuracy buff, his walk accuracy decrease, and his run accuracy increase. They've discovered an accidental discrepancy in how we were applying movement and accuracy to Bucky's right click. One we introduced during closed beta when we added a delay for players to receive walking accuracy when slowing down from a running state. This will make it so that the right click was much more accurate on the run than intended. We fixed this now. Okay, so just some changes to Bucky. Some crouching walk accuracy buffs, little walk accuracy nerfs, and some run accuracy buffs. It sounds like they just had an error with some of their numbers that they're kind of straightening out. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. Competitive mode update will be added during this patch, so it's not going to be coming right at the beginning of the patch, right when the patch drops. Ranked will still not be out, but it should hopefully be out in the coming days. I'm assuming before the weekend we'll have ranked in Valorant. Just update iconography, new top rank, and expanded skill disparity range for playing with friends and rank placements. So that's stuff that we talked about yesterday. We got some map updates, some changes to Haven, Ascent, Bind, Split. You guys can check those stuff out on this blog post. I'll have a link in the description below if you want to read some more into that. Heads-up display and UI. All main sections now have a back button. Just a lot of quality of life changes. Again, a lot of stuff you guys can read through if you're interested in all that. Not as interesting stuff as the game changes and champion changes and everything. Some battle pass changes, contract and agent section, quality of life, and early surrender option has been added. There we go. You can now opt to surrender out of a match ahead of the match's completion if you do not want to continue playing. We will also be adding some light polish and functionality in future patches post 1.02. You can call an early surrender vote by typing /FF, forfeit, concede, or surrender. An early surrender vote requires all present players on the trending team to vote yes to pass, so it's got to be unanimous. That's kind of interesting. You can vote /yes or /no along with the F5 and F6. Each team, it's just giving me flashbacks to CSGO now. Each team can only call a vote once per half. Early surrender votes cannot be called before reaching round 8, so that's good. It makes you stick it out. At least you can't just surrender right at the beginning. But I do think surrender needs to be in any game with a competitive ranked setup like that, because there's always going to be games where you have trolls, where you have AFKs, where it's just completely unwinnable, and it's worth your time to just get on to the next one, because obviously your time is the most valuable thing, and you don't want to have a terrible experience being stuck in an unwinnable game. You want your players to be happy and feel like excited to be playing the game, not like you have to waste 10, 15, 20 more minutes of your life if you're having a terrible time, because games are supposed to be fun but also competitive. So if the game's over, if the win loss has been decided, why make people stick it out if they don't want to? If they do want to, great, but if you don't, you should at least have the option to quit, surrender, whatever, without being penalized if the game is clearly over or if there's some extenuating circumstances or something like that. So I think this is a great change. I think it's going to be a huge, huge, huge quality of life, and I love that's what they called it, because I definitely agree with that. Once a vote is called, the vote option will be queued to vote on for the next round. If you call the vote early enough in the bye phase, you can vote immediately. The winning team gets round win credit for every round necessary to bring them up to 13. The surrendering team will get loss credit for every. So surrendering is pretty costly. Like you just lose the rest of the rounds, and since rank is based off rounds won and lost, it can make you drop a lot further. But if you think you're not going to be winning rounds anyway, then, or if you just think you'd rather get on to the next game, but there is some things to think about. Added setting that will allow players to permanently mute text from enemy players. And then the update to tagging movement speed reduction is going from 80% to 70%, and movement speed reduction from wall pen going from 35 to 20. Increase the time it takes to reach desired slow amount when tagged by 100%. So you will just feel a lot faster when getting hit by bullets now, which I think honestly will be another really, really good change. They do have some mode updates, a spike rush, but I'm not really too worried about that. Again, if you want to read that stuff, this will be linked in the description. Performance updates. The team primarily focus on smoothing out frame rate in certain scenarios. That'll be really, really nice. And then a bunch of bug fixes. The Sovereign Ghost skin is back now, which I know a lot of people are asking me about, which is really, really nice. And then at the end, they talk about some known issues that they're looking at coming in the future. Competitive match overtime in this patch will be resolved with sudden death, which they know is unfair. Obviously, some maps are like cited to like attacking or defending, very, very favored, and just having one round of sudden death isn't very fair. Not really a great way to end a game. So they're going to work on a more fair solution, but for now it's still going to be sudden death. And they've discovered issues in their routing software, coming some players in Sweden to be incorrectly placed on Istanbul, and that's going to be resolved as well. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Just running through all the patch notes for Valorant patch 1.02. A lot of big changes coming, and even a lot of changes that we didn't talk about in this video that you guys can go read up on if you're more interested in that. But I tried to cover what I thought was some of the more important things from this patch. If you enjoyed this video, definitely drop a like, subscribe to update on all my latest content. Check out the link for Robinhood in the description below if you want to get a free stock just for signing up. You don't even have to put any money on. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this patch? Are you excited for ranked? Whatever you guys are feeling, I would love to hear it. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.